So today I'll be showing you guys how to make a very simple shirt dress that you can wear casually. So I'm going to be using this fabric here, and the first thing I'm going to do is open up the fabric, fold it into two. Like I'm going to be, you can use maybe 1.5 yard because this is a very short dress, or you can use 2 yards. It depends on you. So this is the part I'm going to be using. I also have my button here because I'm going to be using button at the placket side, so I'm going to set it aside. So after folding your fabric into two, the first thing you're going to check is, so the first thing I'm going to check now is the length of the dress. So the length of the dress I'm working with is 38. So I'm going to add 38. I'm going to add 1.5 to it. So that will give me 30. That will give me 39.5. So I'm going to mark 39.5 as the length of my dress. As you can see, I'm not starting from the very top of this fabric here because I want this to be at the bottom of the dress. I want this line to be at the bottom of the dress. So that's why I'm starting almost like this way here. So I've marked the line for the length of the dress. So this is where my shoulder is going to fall in. So after that, the next thing I'm going to mark is check the width of this. So the widest part of my body is my hip, which is 48. So I'm going to check if it will fit in here. 48 divided by 4, that will give me 12. So 12 will fit in on this part here. I need like extra 1.5 inch here. So I'm going to check if it will fit in. So that's like so I've checked and 13.5 can fit in here. So now I'll start marking my lines. So I'll go back up to the shoulder. My shoulder is 16. 16 divided by 2, that will give me 8. I'm going to mark it here. I'm going to check my armhole, which is 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10. I'm going to mark that here. Connect it to this line here, and then give it this mark here. So then I'm going to come back on this same line, mark 1 inch down for my shoulder slant, right? 1 inch from this point to this point, mark it here. And then I'm going to go to the neckline, which is this side, mark 3 inches here, like 3 inches from this point to this point. And then I'm going to connect this line here to this 3 inches. That's my shoulder slant, right? So this dress is not going to have a dart. I'm still going to make different types of shirt dresses. I will still make the one with a sweetheart neckline. I will also make the one with a flare bottom. So right now I'm just making a very plain t-shirt dress, so that will have a placket. So the next thing I'm going to do is to come down at the neckline, mark 3 inches here, and then connect it up here. Give it this curve for my neckline in front. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to check my bust measurement, which is around 40. 40 divided by 4 is going to give me 10. 10 plus 1 inch for my seam allowance is 11. 11 plus half an inch for ease, because it's a shirt dress, I want it to have some ease to it. So I'm going to use half an inch, and that will give me 11.5. So I'm going to mark 11.5 here. Come down to the waist. My waist is 30. So how I'm going to know where my waist will fall in is I'm going to just mark from my shoulder to the bust is normally like 10 or around 11. Then shoulder to waist is around 18. Sorry, is around 17. And then my shoulder to hip is normally 24. So folded part of this fabric. So I'm 13.5. I'm going to now mark this point here. So this is, I'm going to leave the 13.5 to be the whole end of this fabric. So I'm just going to mark from this point and then connect it to here, like you're making an A line, right? I'm not going to shape in the waist part of this because I'm not going to be darting it. This is a different type of shirt dress. Some of them you might want to give it a dart at the waist, but this I just want it to be A line and straight down. so I'm not going to be using the waist measurement, and I'm not going to be giving it any dart. So that's it for the front. I'm now going to cut it out. So guys, I've gone ahead and used the front panel to also trace the back panel. So everything I traced from this front, I also did the same for the back. So I just placed the fabric folded again, and then used this front piece here and traced another one of this here. But the only thing I didn't do is that I didn't cut the same neckline for the back. So what I'm going to do now is to come down by 1/2 inch for the back neckline, right? Come down by 1/2 inch for the back neckline, and then so this is the 1/2 inch. I'm going to trace it out, and then I also went ahead and cut open this front panel here. This front panel, I opened it up for the placket because the button is not going to get to the end here. When I'm going to do that, when I'm going to make another video, I'll try to explain how to make the type that goes down to the end here. So this one here is just going to stop at this point. I already have a video on my channel how to make a placket, but I'm going to just run through how to do it again. So first thing I'm going to do, now I'm done cutting this, I'm going to set it aside and cut the sleeve. So I'm going to cut the sleeve now. The next thing I'm going to do is, this is the fabric folded into 4, right? You could see I folded it this way, and then folded it again. So this is for 2 sleeves. The first thing I'm going to do is to come down here, mark at 4 inches. If you have a ruler, that's even better. And then the next thing you're going to do is to just mark from this end here, like you're writing an S, and then you mark it over. So just like this. This is the sleeve, and then you come down here and know like what the sleeve length to be. So for me, the sleeve length I'm working with is 14. I'm going to mark it here. It's going to be 12.5. So if I add 1.5 to it, it's going to end up 14. So I'm going to mark it here, cut out the excess, and then from this point here, I'm going to check what my cuff length will be, and my cuff length is going to be at around 14 divided by 2 is going to be 7, and then I'm going to add extra 1 inch to it. That will give me 8. So I'm going to mark 8 at this point here, because I don't want it too fitted. But if you want it fitted, you can just add, like you can just make it tight. So that's what I'm doing here. So now I'm going to cut out this part here, and this will be my sleeve. From here, I'm just going to mark from this point, and then I also have a video on how to cut basic sleeve on my channel. And then I'm going to notch the center, mark this, cut this open, so that way I have 2 sleeves now. So you see, 1 sleeve, the second sleeve. So I have 2 of my sleeves. I'm going to set it aside, and then I'm going to go and add the placket. And for the placket, the first thing I'm going to do, this is the front panel of, you see what I'm working with here. I put this fabric, one side is bigger than the other side. You see, I think on this side I have about, on this side of this opening, I have about maybe 1.5 inch here, and then the rest of them are on this side, because this is going to be the bigger side of the placket. This is going to be on the inside. So the next thing I'm going to do is to go to the sewing machine, right? The way this is placed, the way it is placed now, you can, so the way it is placed now, you see, you can pin it down before flipping it over. So I'm just going to go to the sewing machine, make a stitch all the way down here, and then go back to this end, come this way. I don't know if you could see, come this way, and then go all the way back up again. So I'm going to do that now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut open this line here. I've made the stitch, so I'm going to open it back up again. So after opening it up, when you get to this end here, you try to make a notch, like make sure you get almost to the end. Try to get almost to the end here. Make 1 notch on this side, right? And then make another notch going, another cut going this way. So you see I have this type of cut here. So you cut almost as if you're getting to this end here, and then you also cut as if you're getting to this end here, so that way you can flip the fabric comfortably. After that, the next thing I'm going to do now is to fold this here, right? I'm going to fold this on this side, right? Fold this on this side here. So let's say I've folded this one here, right? And then the next thing I'm going to do is also to flip this one this way to cover this the other line. So put it this way and then fold it. See how I'm going to fold this one? Push it to the end, and then just, let's say this is the 1/2 inch I'm going to use, which is this black line. I'm just going to fold it this way and then put it down this way to the end, and then I'm going to make a stitch, right? I'm going to make a stitch all the way from this end here down to this end. When I get to this point here, I'm going to fold this in, right? And then come back up again, only on this, come back up again, maybe up to this point here, right? Up to this point here, stitch it back and forth, and then only stitch on this particular piece of fabric and come up. So that's basically how I'm going to do the placket. I'm going to show you also how I'm going to do the neckline. So guys, as you can see, I finished everything on the dress. I finished both the placket and putting the sleeves too. So the only thing I have to finish up now is the shirt neckline. You know, you can use, even because when I was done putting in this, I was thinking you can put in a bishop collar. That's the one that is just plain, or you can even put in the ordinary collar, the one that is folded. So I'm just going to put in the ordinary one. So for that, how I'm going to do it is start from this end here, put in my tape and measure around my neckline here. So I'm going to measure all the way round and know how many inches I have. So the neckline I'm working with is, okay, 19.5, right? I'm going to add 1 inch to it, so that will be 20.5. So I'm going to measure out 20.5 on this fabric here, because that's what I'm going to be using for the neckline. So I'm going to measure out 20.5 for the length. So put in my tape this way and measure out 20.5. That will be somewhere here, right? I'm going to measure it out, so that's here, and I'm going to cut it. And after that, the length, the width of this, width of the collar is going to be around, let's say 5 inches or so. That's what will be the width, so that when it's folded, 1/2 inch goes in for the seam allowance, the other 1/2 inch for the seam allowance, and then you have 4 inches left inside. So 2 inches folded this way, 2 inches folded in facing your neck. So I'm going to cut out this piece here. So that's, I have 21 here, so no problem. The next thing I'm going to do, as you can see, I cut 2 of these, right? This one is going to serve as the second layer of this. So I'm going to fold it this way, fold it right side facing each other, and I'm going to make a stitch on top here. I'm going to make a stitch on top. After making a stitch on top, I'm also going to make a stitch down this side, and then I'm going to flip it out, iron it, and then attach it all the way to the neckline. Guys, this is what the shirt dress is looking like right now, and you could see I've already put in the 2 buttons. I plan on putting 4, but I figured I might just use 3 alone, and this is what it looks like. Yeah, and this is the full length. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.